What up, my man in society? It is your host with the most, Shadow Log, back at you with another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and are subscribed to the channel. It is absolutely free. You help my channel get into the algorithm. I highly appreciate it if you go ahead and do that, right? Now, the question I was asked is my thoughts on addicts, right? People who are, have addictions, right? Whether alcohol, gambling, drugs, the main one. Like, what are my thoughts on them, right? Because I hear all these people always insulting individuals, right? The worst of the worst, the scum of the planet. They should just lock them up and throw away the key, and they should just kill themselves, and all the worst kind of things that people say about individuals, right? Which always baffles me, right? Because I understand they make bad decisions, bad choices, and all that, right? Doesn't mean that they're bad people, right? Bad individuals, right? It's just that people don't take the time to understand the actual scenario, right? What's actually occurring here, right? They don't take the time to think about none of that, right? Because people are so quick to insult and judge, because it no longer becomes about the problem. It becomes about them satisfying their frustration, their anger, satisfying themselves, right? That's the only reason why they lash out the way that they lash out, right? Because if you want to help the problem, right? If you're looking to help this problem, this situation, right? You're looking to be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem, right? How is calling these people the worst of the worst, scumbags, dirt, trash? How is that going to help them and overcome their addictions? How is that going to help them in any form or fashion? Right? It's not, right? It's only going to make the situation worse. It's only going to aggravate them, or make them sink into more of a state of depression, and of why to turn to these substance, right? Because you don't help somebody by dehumanizing them even more, right? These are people whose overall confidence has been shattered, whose mental has been broken. These are people who have been broken in society, bro. Oh, that's bullshit because I had problems. I have gone through stuff. Look, the fact that you want everyone to be like you is crazy in itself, right? Because not everyone is the same. Not everyone's mental is the same, right? People handle stress completely different, right? Some people could handle it more than others. We are not all built the same, right? Not even genetically, like in your family. Like you could have, 5 brothers, or like 3 brothers and 2 sisters, whatever. But you could have like 5 siblings, right? And you guys could all have both the same parents, right? And then tragedy happens in your family, and everyone takes the information differently. Some are able to overcome it quite nicely. Some, spiral out of control. Some are so. But everyone handles this information differently, right? That's no secret, right? We all handle, tragic trauma and problems differently, right? So to want everyone to be like you in itself is it's crazy, right? Sounds like we have some ego problems, Sounds like you have to go get yourself checked for having, anger issues or ego issues, So everyone handles these problems different. These are people who obviously, have suffered some traumatic event, because the only reason why they run to substance abuse or whatever is because they're looking to escape reality, because they're not comfortable with the reality. Something is going on in the reality that they're not okay with, that they just wish to escape the feeling or the overall situation, right? They don't know how to cope with this, so that's the reason why they turn to this, this thing to help them escape, what they're going through. Right? So I'm not coming on here to justify why they're addicts, or so we should just let them be drug. I'm just, breaking down of why these individuals became this way, right? And how insulting them, name calling, and all that is not going to help the problem. It's only going to make it worse. So while you think you're a part of the solution, you're actually making the problem worse, right? But yet you think that you're a good person. Now, it's having your morals in the right place, right? Like what you see, the screen in front of you is It's the pyramid of Maslow, right? Which is a pyramid that was created around roughly around 1940, 1943, I think, right? 1943. I'm not too sure on the date. 1943, but it was created by a Jewish Russian American named, well, he was a psychologist named Abraham Maslow. And this, who anybody who takes, has ever taken a psychology course, right, whether in college or in high school, it's one of the then you already recognize the pyramid, right? So it's pretty much his. He had wrote an academic journal, right, and this is where this pyramid was first introduced, right? Which because he was in seek for the purpose of life, right? Because one of the worst things to experience or to think is individuals who feel like they have no purpose in life. Like, what is the purpose of life? Like, what is your life's purpose, right? So someone who feels like they don't have no purpose in life, right? They're just out of place, out of sync. Then that individual, you can see where things get chaotic, right? That's one of the worst things that could, potentially happen to you, right? You feel like you have no purpose in life, right? You need a purpose in life. As humans, we feel like we need a purpose in life. Like, what are we striving for, right? And so this breaks it down, nicely, right, on the overall psychological mind state, right, of what should we be striving for, right, or what do people crave and need, right, psychological needs, safeties and securities, love and belongings, and all of that. Because one thing that people have to understand, if somebody out there says that they don't give a fuck, they don't need nobody, they're cool, they don't need nobody, they don't give a fuck, they don't need people to be there for them and stuff like that, is a lie, bro. One of the biggest lies that a lot of people like to tell to make themselves feel better, right? But it's an overall facade, right? It's for overall people, it's to uphold this image that they're trying to uphold, right? Like they don't care, right? That way they won't be seen as vulnerable, right? So that's the reason why they put up the front, right? But as social creatures, we all need a purpose in this life, right? Or we want to feel like we belong, like we're accepted, and stuff like that, right? Companionship. Whether I'm not saying like to be out there, trying to satisfy the masses, right? But people to be in our lives, right? Whether it's friendships or family members, right? So when somebody feels like they don't have that, right? They don't have no bond, not even with their family, right? Because as people have seen it, if they have studied if they have seen some of my prior videos, right, and know about a lot of cases out there where, sometimes some people tend to be the best parents, right? Some people, tend to put themselves before their children, or put their bad habits before their loved ones. Situations become very chaotic and, very stressful, and unfortunately, it sucks, right? So when someone feels like they don't even have, family, and they don't have no, friends, so they feel like they have nobody, then you can see where, addiction could come in and take a hold on somebody, right? Because now when they're under the influence of whether it's drugs or alcohol, or even gambling, right? Because winning, they like the feeling of finally now winning, right? It makes them feel better about their overall situation, because they have always been out of luck and down on luck, and like if they're not good for nothings, right? So now when they win, they like that feeling. So now they get stuck on that, right? So what happens is that when people get addicted to that, right? Like feeling now, the drug helps them escape the warp of reality. It now fits under the bottom of the pyramid, right? Which is on psychological needs, which is like breathing, water, food, stuff like that, right? So now, in order to try to succeed anything else in the pyramid, whatever, they feel like they need this substance in them in order to even strive for anything else, right? Because they stay stuck. People who have an addiction, they stay stuck on the bottom of the pyramid because they depend and rely on this substance in order to even, how could I say, function in society, right? Because they trick themselves, because they start making now rational, even though they're irrational, right? They justify why to do these drugs, right? They find some form of justification to make themselves feel better of why they're doing what they're doing, right? Because understanding, a drug addict has to, sometimes they tend to do things that they thought they would have never have done, or never would do, right? And one of the worst human feelings is shame, right? Right, whenever you're ashamed of something about yourself, or somebody calls it out or starts speaking about it, people want to change the conversation, change the subject. They don't even want to hear it, because it's one of the worst feelings, being shameful of something, right? um which is normal, right? It's a normal feeling that the human beings have, right? That we share in common. It's a normal trait, right? Of why people, don't like the feeling of shame, and so the fact that they feel the shame not only amplifies the need of why to chase the drug, right? To for to let go of those feelings that they're feeling, right? So you can see where the spiral starts happening, right? The problem stemmed from one thing, and then now it literally mutated into something else, right? Because the overall the delusion becomes bigger. So it's understanding these individuals, hearing them out, hearing their stories, um, lending a helping hand, not by giving them money to go supply these things, because that's one thing that a lot of people don't understand, that even the Democrats, when it comes to the homeless and stuff like that, or mental issues and stuff like that, it's overall giving these people the right psychological help in order to help them overcome their problems. Because name calling, insults, or saying fuck them, just let them be out there and die or whatever, that's not going to help the problem. And then giving them money and everything is not going to help the problem either, right? Giving them homes and stuff like that, that's not going to help the problem. You're not helping the problem. You're giving them everything, but you're not telling them how to sustain their overall, psychological mind state, right? Of, to be productive in society, right? You're not teaching them that. You don't teach, somebody, like, what's the greatest he'll eat that day, but if you teach him how to fish, then he'll eat forever. You get what I mean? So they're giving them fishes, but they're not teaching them how to fish. So it's like, you leave, then he's screwed, right? So overall, it's understanding these individuals, right? Because name calling and insults, I know they make you feel better, right? They make you feel like you're above these people, and make you feel like you succeeded, and overall getting rid of your frustration of the problem. But this is just, you're literally making this about you, satisfying your ego, but not fixing the problem. You're literally a part of the problem. You either come with some solutions and help, or you don't come at all, bro. There's no reason of why to insult these individuals to begin with, because you're getting nothing out of that, bro. So before people want to be, insulting these people and stuff like that, how about you try to understand the situation before you think that you're actually a good person and a part of the solution of society? But I'm just saying, Shadow, we out.